If you're reading this right now, it's because something deep inside you recognized these words before your mind could process them. Tired, silent, forgotten. Those three words landed somewhere in your chest, didn't they? They touched something you've been carrying so long you almost convinced yourself it's just part of who you are now. But it's not. And I need you to hear what I'm about to say with every fiber of your being. I see you, not the version you show everyone else, not the filtered image, not the person who says, "I'm fine," when someone asks how you're doing. I see the real you, the one who's exhausted in ways that sleep can't fix, the one who's gone silent because explaining feels like too much work, the one who wonders if anyone would notice if you just disappeared for a while. You're tired, aren't you? Not just physically, though your body feels heavy most days. You're tired in your soul, tired of trying, tired of pretending, tired of being strong when you feel weak, tired of holding it together when everything inside you is falling apart, tired of showing up when no one seems to notice whether you're there or not. I know about the exhaustion you don't talk about, the kind that makes getting out of bed feel like climbing a mountain, the kind that makes simple conversations feel draining, the kind that makes you want to cancel plans not because you don't care about people, but because you don't have anything left to give. You've been running on empty for so long that empty feels normal now. You've been pushing through for so many days that you forgot what it feels like to actually have energy, to actually want to engage, to actually feel alive instead of just going through the motions. And the silence, oh, the silence. You've gone quiet, haven't you? Not because you don't have things to say, you have volumes inside you. Books worth of thoughts, feelings, observations, pain, questions. But you've learned that speaking often leads to misunderstanding, that sharing often leads to judgment, that vulnerability often leads to being wounded. So you stopped talking about what really matters. You stopped sharing what you really feel. You stopped asking for what you really need. You keep conversations surface level now, small talk, safe topics, nothing too deep, nothing too real, nothing that would require someone to actually see you. You've become an expert at nodding along, at giving the expected responses, at making others comfortable while you slowly disappear inside yourself. You smile when you should. You laugh when it's appropriate. You participate just enough that no one asks too many questions. But inside, you're screaming. Inside, you're drowning. Inside, you're begging for someone to notice that you're not okay, while simultaneously hoping no one looks too closely because you don't have the energy to explain. And then there's the worst part. The part that cuts the deepest. You feel forgotten, not just by people, though that's part of it. You feel forgotten by me. You feel like I moved on to someone else, someone more faithful, someone less messy, someone who didn't fail as much as you did. You look around and see me showing up for others. You hear testimonies of breakthroughs and miracles and answered prayers. You watch doors open for people around you while yours stay closed. And quietly, in the privacy of your own thoughts, you wonder what's wrong with you. Why everyone else but not you? Why you keep getting passed over, looked over, forgotten? Let me stop you right there. Let me interrupt that thought pattern before it goes any further. Let me speak truth into the deepest, darkest, most painful place in your heart. You are not forgotten. Not for one single second. Not for one single moment. Not even when it feels most like you are. I know it doesn't feel that way. I know every unanswered prayer feels like evidence that I'm not paying attention. I know every closed door feels like confirmation that I've moved on. I know every silent season feels like proof that you did something to lose my favor. But feelings are not facts. And right now, your feelings are lying to you. The truth is, I have been closer to you in this season than I've ever been. When you felt most alone, I was most present. When you thought I was silent, I was working in ways you couldn't see. When you believed you were forgotten, I was setting up something so specific, so perfectly timed, so undeniably divine that when it manifests, you'll know beyond any doubt that I never left. Your exhaustion, your silence, your feeling of being forgotten, none of that pushed me away. If anything, it drew me closer, because I don't run from weakness, I run to it. I'm not attracted to people who have it all together. I'm drawn to people who know they need me. And you need me right now, don't you? You need me like you've never needed me before. You need me to be real, to be close, to be more than a concept or a doctrine. You need me to show up in tangible ways, in practical ways, in ways that make a difference in your actual life. I'm here. I've been here, I will always be here. But I need you to stop for a moment. Stop trying. Stop pushing. Stop performing. Just stop. And in the stillness, in the silence that you've been so afraid of, listen. Really listen. Can you hear it? That whisper in your spirit that says you're going to make it. That gentle voice that reminds you to breathe. That quiet assurance that this isn't the end of your story. That's me. That's my voice. And I've been speaking it over you every single day of this difficult season. I know you're tired, so come to me, not with your strength. I don't need your strength. Come to me with your weakness. Come to me with your exhaustion. Come to me with your empty hands and your heavy heart and your depleted soul. Come to me exactly as you are right now, in this moment, reading these words. I'm not asking you to fix yourself first. I'm not waiting for you to pull it together. I'm not requiring you to have more faith or be more spiritual or try harder. I'm inviting you to rest, real rest, soul deep rest, the kind of rest that doesn't come from sleep but from surrender. Surrender the burden you were never meant to carry. Surrender the timeline you created. Surrender the expectations you're holding yourself to. Surrender the guilt of not being where you think you should be. Surrender the shame of struggling when you think you should be stronger. Surrender all of it, and in exchange, I'll give you what you really need, not what you think you need, not what everyone else has. What you specifically, uniquely, personally need in this exact season of your life. I see what you can't see yet. I know what's been happening while you thought nothing was happening. I've been rearranging things, removing things, repositioning things. I've been working behind scenes you don't have access to. I've been having conversations on your behalf that you didn't even know needed to happen. Your silence wasn't wasted. It taught you discernment. It showed you who was really there. It revealed what actually mattered. It stripped away what was superficial. It brought you to a place of honesty you couldn't have reached any other way. Your exhaustion wasn't punishment. It was protection. It slowed you down before you ran so far in the wrong direction you couldn't find your way back. It forced you to stop doing what you should have stopped long ago. It made you evaluate what's actually worth your energy. Your feeling forgotten wasn't abandonment, it was preparation. I pulled you aside, away from the noise, away from the crowd, away from the constant demands. I created space for me to work on things in you that needed privacy, needed quiet, needed time. You thought you were in a waiting room. You were actually in a workshop. You thought you were sidelined. You were being refined. You thought you were forgotten. You were being formed into exactly who you need to be for what's coming next. And what's coming next is going to require the version of you that could only be developed in the silence, in the tiredness, in the feeling of being forgotten. The version of you that knows beyond any doubt that if anything good happens, it's because I did it, not because you manufactured it. I'm about to move in your life in ways that will shock you. Not because I want to impress you, because I want to remind you who I am. I want to restore your trust. I want to rebuild your hope. I want to renew your strength. But first, I need you to release something. That thing you're holding onto because you're afraid if you let go, nothing will replace it. That relationship, that plan, that idea of how it should look, that timeline, that expectation. Let it go. What you're holding onto is actually blocking what I'm trying to give you. You're gripping so tightly to what you have that your hands aren't open to receive what I have. And what I have is better. It's better than what you lost. It's better than what you're holding. It's better than what you're hoping for, but you have to trust me. And I know that's hard right now. I know trust feels like a risk. I know you've been disappointed before. I know you've hoped and it didn't happen. I know you've believed and it fell through. I know you've trusted and been let down. But those experiences weren't with me. Those were with people, with circumstances, with your own understanding. This is different. This is me. And I don't break promises. I don't change my mind. I don't give up on you. You may have given up on yourself. You may have stopped believing things can change. You may have accepted that this is just how it is now. But I haven't accepted that. I haven't given up. I haven't stopped believing in you. I still see what I saw when I created you. I still see the purpose I placed in you. I still see the calling I put on your life. I still see the potential that's been buried under pain and disappointment and exhaustion. And I'm about to resurrect it. Not in your timing, in mine, not in your way, in mine, not for your glory. For mine, but you will benefit. You will be blessed. You will be restored. You will be renewed. This season of silence is about to break. This season of exhaustion is about to end. This season of feeling forgotten is about to shift. But the shift doesn't start with your circumstances changing. It starts with your perspective changing. You need to see yourself the way I see you. Not as a failure, as a fighter, not as forgotten, as focused on, not as finished, as being prepared for something significant. You need to see this season the way I see it, not as wasted time. As valuable training, not as punishment, as purification, not as abandonment, as appointment with destiny. You need to see me the way I actually am, not as distant, as intimately involved. Not as disappointed, as deeply proud of you for not quitting, not as angry, as aggressively for you. When your perspective shifts, everything shifts. You start to interpret your circumstances differently. You start to respond to challenges differently. You start to see possibilities where you only saw problems. And that shift is happening right now, in this moment. As you read these words, something is changing inside you. Something is awakening. Something is being restored. You feel it, don't you? That flutter of hope you've been trying not to feel because you're afraid to be disappointed again. That whisper of possibility you've been trying to ignore because you don't want to get your hopes up. That stirring of faith you've been trying to suppress because it's easier not to hope than to hope and hurt. Let it rise. Let it surface. Let it breathe. That's me. That's my spirit moving in you, reminding you that you're still alive. You still have purpose. You're still called. You're still chosen. You're still loved. You thought you were too tired to keep going, but I'm about to renew your strength, not with your own willpower, with my power, power that doesn't run out. Power that doesn't depend on your circumstances. Power that comes from above and sustains from within. You thought you had to stay silent, but I'm about to give you your voice back. Not the voice that says what people want to hear, the voice that speaks truth, the voice that declares my promises, the voice that prophesies over your own life. You thought you were forgotten. But I'm about to remind you and everyone around you that you are chosen, not by accident, not by default, by divine intention, for specific purpose. At this exact time, this is your moment. Not to receive everything at once, but to begin again, to start fresh, to take the first step, to believe one more time. I'm not asking for great faith, I'm asking for a mustard seed. Just a tiny bit of belief that maybe, possibly, perhaps things could be different. That's enough. That's all I need to work with. From that small seed of faith, I'm going to grow something you can't even imagine right now. Something that will provide shade for you and fruit for others. Something that will outlast this season and impact generations. But it starts here. It starts now. It starts with you making a decision not to try harder, not to do more, to trust again. To open your heart again, to let hope in again. I know it's scary. I know you've been hurt. I know you're tired of being disappointed. But I promise you this time is different. Not because circumstances are better, because I'm in it. And where I am, things change. So here's what I need you to do. Take a deep breath, a real one. Fill your lungs. Feel the life in your body. You're still here. You're still breathing. You didn't quit. You didn't give up. You made it to this moment. And this moment matters. This moment is a turning point. This moment is when you decide whether you're going to keep living from your pain or start living from my promise. Whether you're going to keep agreeing with how you feel or start declaring what I've said. You don't have to feel it for it to be true. You don't have to see it for it to be real. You don't have to understand it for it to work. You just have to believe. And even if your belief is weak, shaky, uncertain, that's okay. I honor even the smallest faith. Right now, wherever you are, I'm asking you to do something. Speak out loud. Say your name. Then say, I am not forgotten. I am seen. I am known. I am loved. Say it even if you don't feel it. Say it even if you don't fully believe it. Say it because it's true whether you feel it or not. Say it because declarations shift things in the spiritual realm. Say it because your voice needs to remember how to speak truth over yourself. When you speak, things change. When you declare, atmospheres shift. When you proclaim my truth over your life, hell has to back down and heaven has to respond. You've been silent too long. It's time to speak again. Time to declare again. Time to prophesy over your own life again. Not with presumption, with authority. The authority I gave you when I called you mine. You are mine. That hasn't changed. My love for you hasn't diminished. My plans for you haven't been cancelled. My promises to you haven't expired. Everything I said over your life is still true. Everything I called you to is still valid. Everything I deposited in you is still there, waiting to be activated. And the activation is beginning now. Not when you feel better, not when circumstances improve. Now. In the midst of your tiredness, in the middle of your silence, right where you are feeling forgotten, because that's how I work. I show up in the valley and call it a mountain. I show up in the desert and call forth streams. I show up in the grave and call out resurrection. You're not dead, you're dormant, and dormant things are about to spring to life. Seeds that have been buried are about to break through the soil. Potential that's been suppressed is about to explode into manifestation. Get ready, prepare your heart, open your hands. Lift your eyes, because what I'm about to do is going to require you to receive it, to steward it, to carry it with humility and grace. I'm not bringing you out of this season the same way I brought you in. You're different now, deeper, wiser, stronger in the places where you broke, more compassionate because you've suffered, more authentic because you've been stripped of pretense. This version of you is ready for what that version of you couldn't have handled. This version of you can be trusted with what would have destroyed you before. This version of you knows who gets the glory. So I'm entrusting you with something, an assignment, a calling, a responsibility, not to burden you, to activate you, not to overwhelm you, to focus you, not to drain you, to give you purpose that will energize you from the inside out. You've been tired because you've been doing things that weren't yours to do, carrying things that weren't yours to carry, trying to be things you weren't created to be. But when you step into your authentic assignment, you'll find strength you didn't know you had, grace for what you're actually called to do. That exhaustion you feel, some of it is misalignment. You've been pouring energy into things I never asked you to pursue. You've been giving yourself to people I never assigned you to serve. You've been chasing goals I never planted in you. And now I'm calling you back, back to center, back to your lane, back to your purpose, back to what you were actually created for. And when you find that place, everything changes. The tiredness lifts not because life gets easier, but because you're finally doing what you were made for. The silence breaks not because you force it, but because you have something worth saying again. The feeling of being forgotten disappears, not because people finally see you, but because you remember who you are. You are not an afterthought. You are not a mistake. You are not too much or not enough. You are exactly who I created you to be, at exactly the right time, for exactly the right purpose. And your purpose is about to become clear in ways it never has before, not all at once, step by step, but with increasing clarity, with undeniable confirmation, with supernatural alignment. Pay attention, watch closely, notice the patterns, see the signs. I'm going to start showing you things, opening your eyes to things you missed, connecting dots you couldn't connect before, revealing purpose you couldn't see. And as the revelation comes, so will the strength. As the clarity increases, so will the energy. As the purpose becomes evident, so will the passion. You're about to rediscover what it feels like to be excited about life again, to have something to look forward to feel that sense of anticipation that's been missing for so long. But you have to let go of the heaviness first. You have to release the disappointment. You have to stop rehearsing what didn't happen and start declaring what's about to happen. The past is over. Learn from it, but don't live in it. The future hasn't happened yet. Prepare for it, but don't stress about it. Right now, in this present moment, is where your power is. Right now is where you get to choose. Right now is where transformation begins. Choose to believe me. Choose to trust me. Choose to rest in me. Choose to hope again. Choose to dream again. Choose to live again, not half alive, fully alive, not just surviving, thriving, not just existing. Living with intention, with purpose, with joy. I'm giving you permission to live again, to laugh again, to enjoy things again, to be yourself again. You don't have to carry guilt for feeling good when others are struggling. You don't have to apologize for healing when others are still hurting. Your breakthrough doesn't diminish anyone else's story. Your blessing doesn't take away from anyone else's portion. Your healing doesn't minimize anyone else's pain. You're allowed to be okay. You're allowed to be better. You're allowed to be blessed. Receive it, all of it. Everything I've been trying to give you, but you've been too tired to reach for, too silent to ask for, too convinced you were forgotten to believe was for you. It's for you, all of it. The breakthrough, the blessing, the healing, the restoration, the joy, the peace, the purpose. It has your name on it. I wrote your name on it before you were born. I set it aside for you. I protected it while you were going through what you went through. I preserved it while you were in the valley. And now I'm releasing it, not all at once. You couldn't handle that, but progressively, systematically, intentionally, at the perfect pace for where you are and where you're going. Trust my timing, trust my process, trust my love for you. Trust that I know what I'm doing even when you don't. You're not forgotten, you never were. You were being prepared. And now the preparation is complete. The season is shifting. The chapter is turning. The story is continuing. This is not the end. This is a new beginning. And it starts right here, right now, with you making a choice to believe one more time. Believe me. Believe in me. Believe with me. And watch what I do. I'm about to astound you. I'm about to exceed your expectations. I'm about to do immeasurably more than you could ask or imagine. Not because you earned it, because I love you, because you're mine, because this is who I am and what I do. I restore, I redeem, I resurrect. I make all things new, and I'm about to make you new. Not a different person, a renewed person, the best version of yourself, the version I always saw, the version you're finally ready to become. Welcome to the next chapter. It's going to be beautiful. Not perfect, but purposeful. Not easy, but meaningful. Not without challenges, but filled with my presence every step of the way. And my presence changes everything. When I'm there, you're never alone. When I'm there, you're never without help. When I'm there, you're never without hope. I'm here. I've always been here. I'll never leave. Never. No matter what. No matter where. No matter when. I'm with you. Always. Now rise, not in your strength. In mine. Rise from the tiredness. Rise from the silence. Rise from the feeling of being forgotten. Rise into who I've called you to be. Your time is now. Your moment is here. Your story continues. And it's going to be greater than anything you've seen before. I promise. And I keep my promises. Always. But there's more I need you to hear. More that needs to settle into your spirit before you step back into your day, before you close this and move on. Because if you leave too soon, you'll miss the most important part. The part that actually changes everything. You see, I haven't just been speaking to your mind. I've been speaking to the deepest parts of you, the parts you don't let anyone see, the parts you barely acknowledge yourself, the parts that are so tired they don't even know how to express it anymore. I need you to understand something. Your tiredness is valid. Don't let anyone minimize it. Don't let anyone tell you to just pray more, just have more faith, just try harder. That's not what you need. That's actually what got you here in the first place. You've been trying so hard for so long, trying to be enough for everyone, trying to meet every expectation, trying to prove your worth through your productivity, trying to earn love through your usefulness. And it's exhausted you because you were never meant to work that way. You were never designed to run on performance. You were never created to earn what was freely given. My love for you, my acceptance of you, my delight in you, none of that is based on what you do. It's based on who you are. And who you are is mine. That truth alone should change how you live. When you really get it, when it moves from your head to your heart, it transforms everything. You stop trying to prove yourself and start resting in who you already are. You stop earning and start receiving. You stop performing and start being. And from that place of being, the doing flows naturally, not forced, not frantic, natural, sustainable, life-giving instead of life-draining. You've been living backwards. Doing to be instead of being then doing. Striving to arrive instead of arriving then moving from there. Working for acceptance instead of working from acceptance. I'm flipping the script. I'm restructuring how you see everything. And it starts with you receiving this truth deep in your bones. You are already accepted, already approved, already enough. Not because of what you've done, but because of what I've done. When I look at you, I don't see your failures. I see my son. I see my daughter. I see someone I love so completely that I gave everything to have relationship with you. That's not conditional on your performance. That's permanent. You can't make me love you more by doing better. You can't make me love you less by doing worse. My love is constant, complete, unchanging. It's not based on you, it's based on me, and I don't change. Now, from that place of security, I want to talk to you about your silence, the words you haven't said, the thoughts you haven't shared, the feelings you've kept locked inside. You went silent for protection, didn't you? You've been hurt by your own voice, words you said that were misunderstood, thoughts you shared that were judged, feelings you expressed that were dismissed or weaponized against you. So you learned to keep things inside, to process alone, to carry burdens in silence. It felt safer that way, less risk, less pain, less disappointment. But silence comes with its own cost: isolation, loneliness, a sense of being unknown even by people who are close to you. They know the version you show them, but they don't know the real you, because the real you has gone quiet. I'm not saying you need to share everything with everyone. Wisdom requires discernment about who gets access to what parts of you, but I am saying that you need someone. You need a safe place. You need a space where you can be honest without fear. And even if you don't have that with another person right now, you have it with me. You can tell me anything, everything, the thoughts you're ashamed of, the feelings you don't understand, the questions you're afraid to ask, the doubts you think disqualify you. Nothing you say will shock me. Nothing you feel will disqualify you. Nothing you think will make me love you less. I already know it all, and I'm still here, still loving you, still for you. So talk to me. Really talk to me. Not just religious words, not just prayers that sound right. Real, honest, raw conversation. Tell me you're angry. Tell me you're confused. Tell me you're disappointed. Tell me you're afraid. I can handle your honesty. What I can't work with is pretense. When you pretend everything's fine, I can't address what's really wrong. When you hide your true feelings, I can't heal what you won't reveal. Your vulnerability with me doesn't make you weak. It makes you wise. It positions you to receive what you actually need instead of what you think you should want. And here's what I know you need right now. You need to know that your voice still matters, that what you have to say is valuable, that your thoughts are worth hearing, that your perspective is unique and necessary. You've been silent so long you've started to believe the lie that you don't have anything worth saying. That's not true. You have a testimony that someone needs to hear. You have wisdom that someone needs to receive. You have a perspective that someone needs to consider. Your silence is keeping someone bound. Your story could set them free. Your struggle could give them hope. Your survival could inspire their perseverance. But you have to find your voice again. You have to start speaking again. Not to everyone, not about everything, but with wisdom and courage, you have to break the silence. Start small, start with me, start in private, but start. Because your voice is about to become a weapon against the darkness. Your words are about to bring light to people who are where you've been. Your testimony is about to become someone else's turning point. Now, about feeling forgotten. This one cuts the deepest, doesn't it? Because it's not just about people forgetting you. It's about fearing that I forgot you. You look at your life and you don't see the evidence of my involvement. You don't see the miracles. You don't see the breakthroughs. You don't see the dramatic intervention. So you conclude that maybe you're not on my radar. Maybe you did something that caused me to move on to someone else. Let me be absolutely clear. That is impossible. Impossible. I cannot forget you. Your name is written on the palms of my hands. You are constantly before me. I think about you more than you think about yourself. I know the number of hairs on your head. I collect your tears in a bottle. I record your every movement. You are not forgotten. You are focused on. You are not overlooked. You are overseen with meticulous attention to detail. You are not abandoned. You are accompanied every single moment of every single day. But I need to explain something about how I work. I don't always work visibly. I don't always work the way you expect. I don't always work in ways that make sense to you at the time. Sometimes my greatest work happens in complete silence. Sometimes my most significant intervention looks like nothing is happening. Sometimes my protection manifests as a closed door. Sometimes my provision shows up as just enough, not overflow. And in those times, you feel forgotten because you're measuring my presence by your circumstances. But my presence isn't determined by your circumstances. My presence is constant regardless of what's happening around you. I was with Job when everything was taken. I was with Joseph when he was in prison. I was with David when he was in the cave. I was with Daniel when he was in the lion's den. I was with Paul when he was shipwrecked. I was there, working, moving, setting things up, preparing the next chapter. And I'm with you, right now, in this exact situation. I haven't forgotten you. I'm setting things up. I'm arranging things. I'm working on your behalf in ways you can't see yet, but you will see. Soon, the evidence of my involvement is about to become undeniable. The proof of my presence is about to manifest. The demonstration of my power is about to be visible. And when it happens, you'll look back on this season and understand. You'll see that I was there all along. You'll recognize my hand in things you thought were just coincidence. You'll realize that what looked like delay was actually divine timing. But right now, you have to trust what you can't see. You have to believe when you don't feel. You have to know that I'm working even when you see no evidence. That's faith. Real faith. Not faith in good circumstances. Faith in a good God, regardless of circumstances. Not faith in what you see. Faith in who you know me to be even when you can't see anything. And that faith, that trust in the dark, that belief when there's no proof, that moves my heart like nothing else. That's what I'm looking for. Not perfect performance, perfect trust. Not flawless execution, unwavering confidence in my character. You've been giving me that whether you realize it or not. Every day you got up when you didn't want to. Every moment you chose to keep believing when it would have been easier to quit. Every time you whispered my name when you had no strength to do anything else. That was faith. That was trust. That moved me. And I'm about to respond to that faith in ways that will astound you. I'm about to answer the prayers you stopped praying because you thought I wasn't listening. I'm about to fulfill promises you stopped claiming because you thought they expired. I'm about to do what you stopped believing I would do because the wait was so long. But the wait wasn't wasted. The wait produced something in you that you couldn't get any other way. Character, endurance, depth, dependence on me, gratitude for small things, appreciation for what you used to take for granted. And now that you have those things, now that they're part of who you are, You're ready for what I've been preparing. You won't handle it the same way you would have before. You won't take it for granted. You won't forget who gave it. You won't let it become more important than me. You're ready, not because you're perfect, because you're desperate. Not because you have great faith, because you have just enough faith to not completely quit. And that's all I need. I work with small faith. I work with weak faith. I work with struggling faith. I don't need you to have it all together. I need you to keep turning toward me even when you're falling apart. And you've done that. Even in your tiredness, you didn't completely turn away. Even in your silence, you didn't completely shut me out. Even when you felt forgotten, you didn't completely forget about me. That matters. That counts. That's enough for me to work with. So here's what I'm doing. I'm renewing your strength. Not all at once, but progressively. You'll start to notice you have energy for things you've been avoiding. You'll find yourself engaging when you've been withdrawing. You'll feel a spark of life you thought was gone forever. I'm restoring your voice. You'll start to find words again. Thoughts will become clear. Feelings will become expressible. You'll have something to say again and the courage to say it. I'm reminding you that you're not forgotten. Through signs, through people, through circumstances, through undeniable evidence, I'm going to show you that I've been here all along, that I never left, that I was working when you thought I was silent. And through all of this, I'm revealing your purpose again. It's still there. It never went away. It was just buried under the weight of disappointment and exhaustion. But I'm uncovering it, brushing off the dust, breathing life back into it. What you thought was dead, I'm resurrecting. What you thought was over, I'm reviving. What you thought was impossible, I'm making possible, because I'm the God of resurrection. I specialize in bringing dead things back to life, dead dreams, dead hopes, dead relationships, dead callings. Nothing is too far gone for me to reach. Nothing is too dead for me to raise. And I'm reaching for you right now, right here, in this moment. I'm reaching for the parts of you that feel dead, the dreams that seem buried, the hope that appears lost, the joy that seems impossible. I'm reaching, and all you have to do is reach back. Just a little, just enough to say yes, just enough to say I'm willing, just enough to say I'm open. That's all I need, your willingness, your openness. Your tiny seed of faith that believes maybe, just maybe, things could be different. From that seed I'll grow a harvest. From that small yes, I'll build a testimony. From that weak faith, I'll produce strong evidence of my faithfulness. You don't have to have it all figured out. You don't have to know how it's going to work. You don't have to see the whole path. You just have to take the next step, the one right in front of you, and I'll meet you there, in that step, with strength, with clarity, with confirmation. With everything you need for that moment, then you'll take another step, and I'll meet you there too, and another, until you look back and realize you've walked out of the valley you thought you'd die in. This is how it works. Not giant leaps, small steps, not massive faith, mustard seed faith. Not perfect understanding, simple obedience. And through those small steps, that tiny faith, that simple obedience, I do immeasurably more than you could ask or imagine. So don't despise small beginnings. Don't minimize small progress. Don't discount small improvements. Every small thing is significant when I'm in it. The small bit of energy you feel today, that's me. The small thought of hope you had earlier, that's me. The small desire to try again, that's me. I'm working, moving, operating, even in the small things. And the small things are about to compound into big things. Small faithfulness is about to produce large results. Small steps are about to cover great distance. Small beginnings are about to lead to significant endings. You're not starting over. You're starting from everything you learned. You're not going backwards. You're going forward with wisdom you didn't have before. You're not losing ground. You're gaining perspective that will serve you for the rest of your life. This season, as hard as it's been, is producing something in you that will outlast the pain. Character that will serve you in every future season. Strength that will carry you through every future storm. Faith that will sustain you through every future test. And you're about to see why it was necessary. You're about to understand why I didn't shortcut the process. You're about to realize that what looked like too much was actually just enough to produce what I needed to produce in you. Trust me. Even now, especially now, when it still doesn't make sense, when you still don't see it, when you still feel tired, silent, forgotten, trust me anyway, believe me anyway, hope anyway, try anyway, live anyway, because I'm about to show you that your trust wasn't misplaced, your faith wasn't wasted, your hope wasn't foolish, your decision to keep going wasn't for nothing. I'm about to vindicate your faith. I'm about to reward your perseverance. I'm about to honor your endurance, not because you earned it, because that's who I am. That's what I do. I'm faithful. I'm good. I'm for you always. And I'm about to prove it in ways you can't deny. Get ready. Your season is shifting. Your story is turning. Your situation is changing, not because of you, because of me. And I'm just getting started. Now I need to tell you something that might be hard to hear, but you need to hear it. Some of the tiredness you're carrying isn't from doing too much of the right things. It's from doing things that were never yours to do in the first place. You've been carrying burdens I never asked you to carry. You've been solving problems I never assigned you to solve. You've been responsible for outcomes that were never your responsibility. And it's crushing you. I need you to lay those down. I need you to release what was never yours. I need you to stop trying to be the savior in situations where I'm the only savior that works. You can't fix everyone. You can't save everyone. You can't heal everyone. You can't carry everyone. And the moment you try, you'll crumble under the weight of it. I gave you specific gifts, specific talents, specific assignments. When you operate in those, you'll find grace. You'll find strength. You'll find energy you didn't think you had. But when you operate outside of them, when you try to do what someone else is called to do, when you take on what I never intended you to carry, exhaustion is inevitable. So let's clarify something right now. What is actually yours? What did I actually call you to? What is your assignment versus what is someone else's expectation? Take a moment. Really think about it. What are you doing? Because I asked you to versus what are you doing? Because someone else needed you to. What are you carrying? Because it's your burden versus what are you carrying? Because you felt guilty saying no. Some of you have been carrying your parents' unfulfilled dreams. Some of you have been carrying your friends' emotional baggage. Some of you have been carrying your children's responsibilities that they need to learn to carry themselves. Some of you have been carrying your spouse's issues that only I can heal, and it's exhausting you because it was never meant for you. It doesn't fit. It's too heavy. And no matter how hard you try, you'll never successfully carry what I didn't assign to you. So put it down, right now, in this moment. Mentally, emotionally, spiritually put down what's not yours. I know you're afraid of what will happen if you stop carrying it. You're afraid things will fall apart. You're afraid people will be disappointed. You're afraid you'll be seen as selfish or uncaring. But here's the truth. When you stop carrying what's not yours, one of two things happens. Either the person picks it up themselves and grows through the process, or I intervene and carry it for them. Either way, it works out better than you trying to do what only I can do. Your job is not to be everything to everyone. Your job is to be who I called you to be, to do what I called you to do, and to trust me with everything and everyone else. And when you do that, when you live from your actual calling instead of everyone's expectations, the tiredness lifts. Not immediately, not completely, but progressively. Because now you're operating in grace instead of grinding in your own strength. Grace is my empowerment for your assignment. When you're in your lane, doing what I asked, grace flows. Things that should be hard become easier. Obstacles that should stop you somehow get moved. Provision that shouldn't be there shows up right on time. But when you're outside your lane, trying to do what someone else is called to do, grace isn't there. You're on your own strength, and human strength runs out. That's why you're so tired. You've been running on human strength for too long, trying to do divine things with human effort, attempting to accomplish supernatural assignments with natural ability. It doesn't work. It can't work, and I never meant for it to work that way. So here's what I'm asking you to do. Come back to your assignment. Come back to your calling. Come back to what I actually asked you to do. And release everything else. Some relationships will change. Some people will be upset. Some opportunities will pass. And that's okay. Better to do a few things well than to do everything poorly. Better to be faithful in your lane than to burn out trying to drive in everyone else's. This might mean you need to have some hard conversations. You might need to set some boundaries. You might need to say no to things you've always said yes to. You might need to disappoint people who have grown accustomed to you always being available. Do it. Your health, your peace, your sanity, your calling depends on it. And the people who truly love you will understand. The ones who don't weren't your people anyway. Now, about your silence. I need to address something specific. You haven't just gone silent with people. You've gone silent with yourself. You've stopped listening to your own heart, your own intuition, your own internal voice. You've been so focused on what everyone else thinks, wants, needs, and expects that you've lost touch with what you think, want, need, and feel. You don't even know what you want anymore because you've spent so long trying to want what you should want. This is a form of self-abandonment. And it's one of the most painful things you can do to yourself. When you abandon yourself to please others, you lose yourself in the process. I need you to come back to yourself. I need you to start listening to yourself again, not in a selfish way, in a healthy way, in a way that honors the person I created you to be. What do you actually enjoy? Not what you're supposed to enjoy, what actually brings you life, what makes you feel alive, what interests you, what excites you. When was the last time you asked yourself those questions? You've been living on autopilot for so long you forgot you have preferences, opinions, desires. You've been so busy being what everyone needs that you forgot who you are apart from everyone's needs. I'm inviting you to rediscover yourself, not to become self-absorbed, to become self-aware. To know yourself well enough to make decisions that align with who I created you to be instead of who circumstances forced you to become. This is going to feel uncomfortable at first. Maybe even selfish. You've been trained to think that considering your own needs is wrong, that putting yourself first is sinful, that having boundaries is unkind. But that's not true. I gave you needs for a reason. I gave you desires for a reason. I gave you preferences for a reason. Honoring those isn't rebellion. It's stewardship. Stewarding the person I created you to be. Don't resist it. Don't talk yourself out of it. Don't minimize it. Receive it. Embrace it. Let it grow. This is your moment, your turning point, your time. You're not forgotten. You never were. You were being prepared, and now you're ready. Step forward into everything I have for you, into everything you're called to, into everything you were created for. The tiredness is lifting. The silence is breaking. The feeling of being forgotten is ending. Welcome to your next chapter. It's going to be incredible, I promise. And I always keep my promises.